Tired of mainstream fantasy anime playing it safe? These 6 highly underrated shows deliver brutal revenge, unique magic systems, and unbelievable overpowered abilities you need. We begin with number 6, Failure Frame. I became the strongest and annihilated everything with low-level spells. Mimori Tuka is abruptly summoned to a magical world alongside his entire high school class to serve as a hero. While his classmates awaken magnificent ranks and legendary talents, Mimori receives a pathetic low-rank status. The cruel goddess in charge immediately discards him into a deadly dungeon designed to execute failures. Left to rot among terrifying monsters, Mimori discovers his seemingly useless status ailment spells, like poison and paralysis, possess an absolute hit rate. This series matters because it twists the familiar summoning trope into a dark, calculated survival thriller centered entirely on one purely ruthless quest for vengeance. Failure Frame completely shatters the standard power fantasy by turning weak abilities into absolute nightmare fuel. What makes this anime incredible is watching Mimori fight with pure venom and cunning instead of flashy explosions. He does not forgive, and he definitely does not forget. The emotional weight of his betrayal drives every single brutal encounter, making each victory incredibly satisfying. It stands out because it embraces a villainous edge that most protagonists lack. You will be actively cheering for his enemies to suffer. This anime delivers pure, unfiltered catharsis right from the very first episode. Number 5, The Wrong Way to Use Healing Magic. Usato is an ordinary high school student who accidentally gets dragged into another world alongside 2 actual heroes. Upon arriving, the kingdom tests their magical affinities, revealing that Usato possesses the incredibly rare healing magic. Before he can even process this, he is violently kidnapped by Rose, the terrifying commander of the rescue team. She forces him through grueling, bone-breaking physical training, effectively turning him into an unstoppable combat medic. This anime matters because it transforms traditional healing from a fragile support role into a terrifyingly aggressive melee fighting style, changing the way we view magical fantasy healers forever. This show is hilarious and completely unhinged in the absolute best way possible. Instead of staying safely in the backlines, our protagonist punches enemies in the face while simultaneously healing them, just so he can hit them again. The humor lands perfectly, but what truly hooks you is the genuinely intense action choreography and his compelling character growth. Rose steals every single scene with her demonic drill sergeant energy, creating a dynamic that keeps you constantly entertained. It masterfully balances laugh-out-loud comedy with brutal physical combat, making it a delightfully refreshing fantasy experience. Number 4, Chillin in Another World with Level 2 Super Cheat Powers. Banaza is summoned from his peaceful merchant life to fight demons, but his initial stats are incredibly pathetic, leading the kingdom to exile him to a distant forest. However, the exact second he reaches level 2, his stats glitch into an infinite symbol, granting him absolute mastery over every single magical spell and combat skill in existence. Despite acquiring literal godlike power, he only wants a quiet life. This series earns its spot by focusing heavily on wholesome romance and peaceful diplomacy over endless violent war, delivering an incredibly soothing take on the usually chaotic, overpowered fantasy protagonist narrative genre. Do not let the long title fool you. This is easily one of the most endearing shows on this list. It brilliantly subverts typical power scaling tropes by having a hero who actively avoids fighting. The romance with Fenris is genuinely sweet, progressing naturally without falling into frustrating harem cliches. You get epic battles whenever forced into conflict, yet the ultimate payoff lies in watching former enemies become a big found family. It completely shines through exceptional character writing, proving that sometimes the ultimate fantasy is just having a warm home filled with true love. Number 3, The New Gate. After defeating the final boss of a deadly virtual reality game to free thousands of trapped players, Shin is suddenly engulfed by a strange light. Instead of waking up in the real world, he awakens 500 years into the game's actual future. The digital world has completely transformed into a vibrant reality where his former virtual companions possess distinct personalities and deep histories. This story earns its rank by shifting the narrative focus from escaping a game to exploring the immense historical consequences of a legendary player returning to a changed world he originally helped to build long ago. This anime heavily appeals to anyone craving deep lore and meticulous world building. Watching Shin navigate a landscape where his casual past actions are now treated as ancient mythology creates an incredibly engaging dynamic. The animation captures the grand scale of his devastating abilities perfectly, but the quiet moments of reunion truly anchor the narrative. It feels incredibly nostalgic, acting like a mature epilogue to a grand adventure that most series never dare to show. If you love discovering hidden secrets and witnessing overwhelming legendary strength, this series absolutely demands your immediate full viewing attention. Number 2. I was reincarnated as the seventh prince so I can take my time, perfecting my magical ability. A commoner sorcerer dies a miserable death because he lacked noble bloodlines to reach his true magical potential. He reincarnates as Lloyd de Saloum, the seventh prince of a powerful kingdom, blessed with an incredibly monstrous mana pool and zero political responsibilities. Allowed to pursue magic freely, young Lloyd spends his days reading ancient grimoires, casually summoning terrifying demons, and breaking basic physical laws just for fun. This anime deserves its high spot for offering an unapologetically chaotic celebration of raw arcane power. Driven by a protagonist whose pure obsession with magic utterly overrides every single normal human moral compass. The visual presentation here is absolutely magnificent, featuring some of the most beautifully fluid spellcasting sequences in recent anime history. Lloyd is undeniably a menace, treating apocalyptic-level threats like fascinating science experiments. The massive contrast between his innocent, childlike appearance and his terrifyingly destructive capabilities creates brilliant dark comedy. It throws standard pacing out the window, ramping up the insanity with every single encounter. If you want a ridiculously fun visual spectacle where the main character is practically the final boss, this spectacular anime will keep your eyes glued to the screen completely. Number 1. As a reincarnated aristocrat, I'll use my appraisal skill to rise in the world. Ars Luvant reincarnates into a harsh fantasy world as a weak noble inheriting a tiny, struggling territory. He possesses no combat skills or overwhelming magic. Instead, he has a unique appraisal skill, allowing him to see the hidden stats, potential, and loyalties of anyone he meets. Knowing a massive civil war is brewing, Ars travels the lands to recruit hidden geniuses, from brilliant tacticians to unparalleled warriors, regardless of their social standing. This masterpiece takes the top spot because it replaces typical solo power fantasies with brilliant political strategy, incredible team building, and deeply compelling character-driven emotional human drama. What makes this anime truly special is its massive heart. Ars is vulnerable, relying entirely on the absolute trust and devotion he builds with his remarkable retainers. Every single recruitment arc hits with heavy emotional weight, addressing serious themes like severe discrimination and crippling poverty. The battles are tactical masterpieces, won through sheer intellect and careful preparation rather than brute force. It is an exceptionally smart, deeply moving series that perfectly proves leadership is the greatest superpower. You will absolutely fall in love with this unforgettable cast and their shared journey toward ultimate heroic greatness. Those are 6 phenomenal fantasy anime that deserve way more attention. Did your favorite underrated gem make our list? Drop a comment below, smash that like button, and subscribe for more epic anime recommendations. Your next great binge watch is just one click away right now.